Welcome to the city of Portland, and this is our house. This is the Pittock Mansion, and I mean, this place is amazing. If you haven't been here yet, I always recommend this. If you're coming into town to visit, go check out the Pittock Mansion because we're going to show you here in a minute. The views are amazing. It always makes the top 5, 10 list of views of Portland. So we decided to come up here to shoot this video of moving to Portland, Oregon. And what better way than to show you guys some amazing views and sitting right in front of our house.
And the Pittocks moved to Portland, Oregon in 1850 when there wasn't anything here, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. Portland is a young city, and I think the vibe still holds.
All right, guys, let's get into it. Hey everyone, my name's Aaron Cullen. I'm a local real estate agent, and this is my wife, Brianna Cullen. And today we're getting into what it's like to move to Portland, Oregon. We did a video last year, and we're doing this video with an updated list. So if you've already checked that one out, don't worry, we're gonna give you some new information to go off of. We've been living here now for 4 years. We just got out of the hardest winter we've had here, and you wouldn't know it because today is beautiful. I mean, this is the Portland weather that I moved here for. I mean, you totally forget when you have a day like this and the weather just changes like that. And now it's just gorgeous. There's no rain in the foreseeable future.
This is our first 70-degree day in probably 6 months. So we are bright-eyed and bushy-tailed to be out here enjoying nature and just everything. I mean, look at that house. I can like see it in my rear view, and it's amazing. Pretty amazing.
I mean, and this is Bry's actually first time here. I've been up here many times. I love the views up here, but I mean, first impressions, I mean, what do you think that I've been recommending this to clients to come see?
I mean, we're gonna show you guys in a minute, but it's pretty amazing because it's kind of on this peak peninsula above the city.
Let's rotate them around.
You get almost 360-degree views up here.
Yeah, you really do. And the views are right down that way. So let's walk down that way a little bit so they can see.
You can see a lot of people are out picnicking, and one thing that's very symbolic or representative, I guess, of Portland is that right off of this property are hiking trails in every direction. And I think that says a lot about living in Portland. We talked about, we were talking about what we wanted to talk about today, and I said, you know, I just want to share a little bit more about daily life. And one of the things about my daily life living here is that I go hiking almost every day because there's a trail walking distance from our house, and that's not unique to us. That's true of so many spots in Portland.
Yeah, and Pittock Mansion is right in Forest Park. It's surrounded by a forest park, which is the largest urban park in the US, bigger than Central Park. And there's hiking trails all over the place. The Japanese gardens, the zoo, Washington Park, they're all right surrounded by Forest Park. And you get into Forest Heights, which is on the west side of the park. So there's so many great places to live, more suburban areas to live, and on the west side of the park, and city areas to live on the east side of the park, which is part of Northwest Portland. So it's more like Nob Hill,
Alphabet District, Northwest 23rd, that area.
And while my wife's taking a sip of her coffee, why don't you guys hit the subscribe button if you want to be notified next time I drop more videos so you can get to know Portland.
And speaking of coffee, I just got this down in the Pearl, which is 5 minutes from here, which is pretty incredible when we're talking about being way above the city and hiking and views. And the Pearl, which is part of downtown Portland, really the urban core, is a 5-minute drive from here. So I'm excited for you guys to see what I'm seeing right now. You're gonna flip the camera around.
Wow. I mean, just amazing. How do you feel about this view?
Well, I mean, it's one thing to see downtown from above, but then Mount Hood behind it is just incredible.
It's incredible. I mean, this is an iconic view. You'll see a lot of drone shots from this angle, just flying right towards the city, and photographs, just breathtaking, beautiful. It gives you a good sense too of the layout of the city.
I've always loved these neighborhoods in the hills above downtown. It's so much fun for me just to walk through those neighborhoods. There are really cool stair hikes in the Northwest Hills where you can follow different paths, and there are stairs that go up the hills, through the houses, through the neighborhoods, not through the houses, but through the neighborhoods. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, check out that view. So amazing. Wow.
We just got our coffee right there.
One of the great benefits about living in Portland is it is a medium-sized city. Like you were just talking about, we got up here in 6-minute drive. We were downtown the Pearl District, and then we were able to just zoom right up here, park right over here in the parking lot. Now we're in Forest Park. So you can just stop off here, have a little picnic, have a little snack. Lots of people are doing that right over here. And they have the beginning of some trailheads all through here near the parking lot. And you can park right on the side of the street. If it gets too busy, there's street parking around here in the neighborhoods as well. Okay, let's talk a little bit about nature since we have this amazing nature view and the city view right behind us.
Okay, so I mentioned that I go hiking almost every day, and I don't mean like I get in my car and then I go on a 2-hour hike. I mean, I walk 10 minutes from our house, I hike for 15 minutes, I walk home, just because it's available.
Yeah.
And just a way to get out and get some exercise. And also along that trail in the summertime, we take our kids to go blackberry picking. We take our kids there to go hiking, and you just have so much access to things like berry picking and, you know, going to cut down our Christmas tree in the wintertime 10 minutes from our house. Going to pick out pumpkins at Halloween. Those really wholesome outdoor family activities is one of my favorite things about living here.
I love all those experiences. I mean, that's one of the things that is so different from here, from LA, where we last moved here from. The drive time takes so long, and here, everything is so close.
Yesterday was the first nice day, and I was picking our kids up from school, and I could just see the lake. Everything was so beautiful, and I texted Aaron and I was like, you need to go out and go for a bike ride right now.
Yeah.
You
So
listened to me.
Yeah, I listened. I was on my computer in my office. I mean, I have an amazing view out the backyard, the trees, and the little forest back behind our house. And I was just doing busy work for the business, but I was like, you know what? This can wait. I can do this a little bit later. So I went downstairs, and I hadn't used my bike. The first time I used my bike, since the winter. So of course it took me 20 minutes to find the bike pump it up, remember how to pump it up because it's got a special attachment. And then I still had a good 25 minutes. So I got on my bike, took my drone with me, and just for fun, and did a nice little bike ride. Went to a trail, got a little bit of off-roading on there, stopped, flew my drone around just for fun, get a little cool view of the lake, and beat you guys home still.
Yeah. Okay, so that's nature. I think another thing about living here that I've been really pleasantly surprised by is just the ability to make friends and build community.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a very laid back, welcoming city for the most part. People are very friendly, and each neighborhood has its own small town feeling. And so one tip for that is that you really want to think about what is important to you in your daily life, what you're looking for, whether that's, good schools or walkability or being close to work, whatever it is for you. Get really clear on what you want, and then Aaron can help you pick a neighborhood that's going to line up with that. Because as easy as it is to get around the city, once you are in your little pocket, that's where you're going to spend most of your time. So it's really important to find the right one.
And so I always highly advise, book a consultation, reach out to me. My information's right down there in the description area. And here, I'll throw up my number, shoot me a text, give me a phone call, and we can set up a Zoom session. We only need 15, 20 minutes, and I really get a good sense of what you're looking for, what kind of lifestyle you like. And then I could recommend neighborhoods to kind of start your research on. And then book a trip out here. If you haven't been out here, if you've only been out here once or twice, book a trip out here and we can go view some houses in some neighborhoods that you like. But we can only do that if you reach out.
It's funny how many people have been reaching out lately saying, I've never been to Portland, but we think we want to move there.
Yeah.
And so really getting to start from scratch. And it's funny because some people come out and visit and they have a certain part of town in mind, And then you just recently had a client who
That's right.
chose a totally different area, or really, they ended up in a really cool area. And that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and it was totally different than what they were looking at, but it was on their list. They were thinking they wanted to live somewhere more suburban, but then they went and checked out somewhere that was more city urban vibe feeling. And you know what?
With a perk a lot like this, but on the east side in Mount Tabor.
That's right. And they ended up just loving it. And they actually just moved in a few days ago. So I just talked to them. They said they're loving it. I'll check back in with them here in another week and see how everything's going, transitioning and moving in. So there really are a lot of options. And that's one of the great things about Portland is it has a neighborhood for everybody. If you want that suburban life, we've got tons of those with highly rated schools. If you want more of that urban life and you still want those highly rated schools, we have those as options as well. Or if you don't have kids and you're not worried about school districts, then that really just does open up a lot more options to you as far as if you want to live more in that urban city feeling. They have really cool condos that are in and around downtown. They have the South Waterfront. They have the Pearl District, which are all condos. There's no houses in the Pearl District, which is really one of the hearts of downtown. That's our favorite area. We're just down there doing some errands, getting some coffee, and then you can be right up here in like 6 minutes, like we were just talking about. Just amazing, beautiful. And it's hard to capture this on video, but it's just so quiet. Listen. You hear a few birds, a few little whispering of people talking on picnic benches scattered around here. This is just a great place to get away, get a little view of the city if you live here or if you're just visiting.
This like English garden back here is so beautiful, starting to bloom. And we did touch on winter, so I think that we should talk a little bit about weather and what to expect, because for me, that's a huge impact on daily life. I'm one of those people that checks my weather app like multiple times a day to see what's going on. And I think moving to Portland, you probably, depending on where you're coming from, are thinking about the weather and what it's really like. And this is all about what you have to compare it to. So we moved here from Southern California, where honestly for me, it was getting a little too hot and a little too, Aaron's gonna laugh at me for saying this because I've been complaining a lot about the winter, but it was getting a little monotonous.
Yeah, like it was a little too warm.
It was a little too blue sky every day.
Which is really funny because this winter she's really been complaining.
I've had like seasonal affective disorder this winter, which is a real thing. I had to buy myself I had to buy myself one of those happy lights and like sit in front of it when I eat my breakfast in the morning. But so this is all dependent on where you're coming from. If you're coming from, you know, Michigan, your sense of what makes good weather, Portland's going to feel like a very mild climate to you. But I think the thing you have to be aware of is probably two big things. One is just being willing to get out no matter the weather and having the right gear. There were times this winter where we were so desperate to get out of the house. We have two small kids, and being cooped up all weekend, we would start to go a little crazy. So sometimes I would like pack up some cookies to bribe them out onto a hiking trail in the rain. And we would... It's
a functional rain for the most part.
We would go hiking in the rain just to get out of the house. You just have to be prepared. So that's one thing. And then the other thing is planning some trips, sunny places in those winter months when it's starting to drain
Very important.
you. So like January, February, March, you start to feel a little bummed out by the weather, and it would help a lot, I imagine. I have yet to do it. Next year is a new year, but we'll definitely be doing a little more travel next winter. So that being said, I was just talking about kind of the downsides of the weather here, but the upside is we are heading into just the most glorious season in the spring. Everything here is blooming. Summers are so spectacular. Like that time of year, I don't really want to go anywhere. We do local travel at that time. We head to the beach or to like the lakes and the mountains nearby because we want to soak up the weather here that time of year.
That's right. And local tip, if you're gonna reserve an Airbnb or a hotel in more of the prime summertime, do it early so you don't overpay and you can have your pick of a place. We already booked our beginning of summer Airbnb, and where are we going this year?
We're going to Pacific City.
Pacific City, which I haven't been to yet, so I'm excited about that. Usually we've been going to Manzanita or Cannon Beach, but we're meeting up with another friend of ours, couple of ours, that have a daughter the same age as our daughter, and they actually have a seasonal place there. And so we're renting a place really close by, and it's walking distance to Pelican Brewery. So I'm excited about that.
So we've been trying to go to the beach the week that our kids get out of school in June, and then take another trip at the end of August, right before school starts. The last couple of years we've gone to the beach for that. This year we're going up to the Hood Canal up in Washington.
Yeah,
and there's
I'm real excited about that.
Me too, it's so beautiful. And there are so many just different waterways and nature places to go that are like, you know, kind of you get the benefits of camping, but you're not camping.
Yeah. The place we're staying at is like 3 blocks from a cute little lake that's then really close by, a little longer walk to a bigger lake, and then a 5-minute car ride to Hood Canal. So there's lots of areas to explore. We got a 3-bedroom house right over there, and hopefully my dad comes and visits us this year. Dad, if you're listening, come on out.
We're counting on you.
We got an extra bedroom.
We have a stand-up paddleboard for you.
Come out, enjoy, hang out with the kids. Oh, and here they got a tour. So Pittock Mansion actually does do tours here if you want to book that. I have actually never done that, but I think it would be pretty cool.
I was thinking about this video and about living in Portland, and like I'm feeling very philosophical about this, and I was thinking that if Portland has a gender, so for those of you who have read Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert, one of the things she talks about in there is that every city has like one word that describes it. And I don't know what it would be for Portland. I'm curious what you would think, but it got me thinking that if Portland has a gender, it's definitely masculine. Like Portland is a guy. I don't know why I feel like that. I think a lot of the activities are very outdoorsy. It's not a formal town at all. It's very like casual, laid back, informal. A lot of the design aesthetics here, I would say, are more on the masculine side. It's like moodier, cozier vibe. It's not elegant or glamorous or feminine. It's a dude.
Yeah.
Portland is a dude.
I can flow with that. I agree with that. I think because Portland used to be such an industrial city, and there still are a ton of active railroad tracks and barges.
The river.
The river, they got the Columbia River. You still see a lot of big cargo boats and ships that still use it to this day for shipping. So it definitely has that industrial, urban feel to it. But I think for me, that's what really adds to it. And I think part of that really reminds me of parts of LA in that sense, as far as some of the restaurant scenes you can go to and the bars. It has, a lot of areas have that grittiness feel to it, which feels a little bit more real to me.
Yeah, that's true. Los Angeles is a lady. Los Angeles is a feminine.
Oh, okay.
Like if they both have a gender, Portland is male and LA is female.
Okay, I'll accept that.
These are just my very own idiosyncratic opinions about the city, but I think it does give you an overall vibe.
Yeah.
And again, I love the laid back nature of Portland. You know, some people used to say years ago, I don't know if people still say this, but Portland is where the young go to retire, because people really value quality of life and things like hobbies and getting outside, staying active. This is not like a type A workaholic city.
No.
It's not like super status or success oriented. I would say it's much more on the side of like creativity, enjoying your lifestyle, raising a family, gardening, hiking, biking, those kinds of things.
All that kind of encapsulates. All that encapsulates pretty much the reasons that I hear of people that reach out to me of what they're looking for, and maybe because that's what we're always talking about and what we were looking for when we moved here. We wanted that little slower pace of life and the opportunity to really just kind of slow things down and have nature and hiking and even the city amenities that much closer and more accessible.
Yeah, just daily life is super easy in terms of getting around, getting to activities for our kids, getting to appointments.
Yeah.
And I was telling you, like right now in the springtime, when I come outside of our house in the morning, it smells so good and so fresh because things are blooming. And I just got that fragrance again.
Oh,
this garden is
yeah.
blooming. There's jasmine, there's daphne. It smells so fresh with all this greenery.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that so much. When we lived in Los Angeles, once we took a trip with some friends, Big Bear, right? We went to
Yes,
Big Bear.
to Big Bear.
And as we were driving up to Big Bear with the windows down and we're, out of the city, out in nature, it takes a long time to get out of Los Angeles because it's so sprawling and so big. The friend that we were with said, "What's that good smell?" And her husband said, "Fresh air."
That is the smell of fresh air, that pine scented fresh air that you get here in and around Portland a lot, especially if you're going to be near any of the parks that have all the big pine trees.
If you're thinking of moving to Portland, if you're one of those people who's never even been here before, but you think there might be something in it for you, reach out.
Reach out to me. My information's right down there below, and let's schedule a Zoom call so we can figure out what neighborhood would be a good fit for you. All right, everyone, I'll see you next time.